Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is Friday. Oh my goodness. I think we're listen, folks. We are getting ready to get into this thing today. We're on episode number, what is episode number 116 today? Episode number 116 today. How to pay off mortgages in 7 years, how to get rid of your student loans, how to get rid of your credit cards, mortgages, all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. But today, our special topic today is what down payment deception. All right, Kenyatta, how are you this morning?
I am wonderful. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kenyatta. You can find me at kenyatta10k.com. And I am passionate about helping you start your real estate journey. I want to help you find a property, finance that property, cancel the interest on that property so we can get you yet another property. And I can do that because I'm the official lender of this room, the P.I.L.L method room. But more importantly, I want you to see these examples because once I help you get that mortgage, we need to learn how to actually get out of it even quicker. So what I would like for you guys to do on a laptop, desktop, perhaps a tablet, go to ICE10K videos with an S.com. That's ICE10K videos with the S.com. So you can see Don break down these examples. It's going to take you straight to YouTube where you can like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, share. We're really trying hard to get this information out to everyone.
Thank you, Miss Kenyatta. Listen, Kirk Nugent, listen, anytime you can jump in here. Kurt is our producer, folks. He's making sure that we can get out live on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn. All of our information is going out live right now. We're being live streamed, and Kirk Nugent, our producer, makes sure that happens. I mean, he talks about going live streaming to get your message out. And for 106, this is our 116th episode that we have out there on the net and working constantly, getting the information out once we put it out there. And we're going to be talking about down payment deception today. So if Kurt Nugent can, he's always working in the background, folks. So Kurt, if you can say something, please jump in there at any time and let us know that you're ready to come on camera or at least audio, man. Because, people like to hear from you. All right, folks, listen, we're going to get ready to get started here. I need a few more shares in the room because I don't want to get started until we get as many people in here as possible. And I will start with this. I'll start with this. All right. So just to get things kind of warmed up. All right. On YouTube, we have over 6,000 subscribers. We went over 6,000 subscribers. And to celebrate, we have suspended we started this on Wednesday. It ends today, but we have suspended our consultation fee of $150. We have a consultation fee of $150 for all people who want to get a savings and earnings report consultation. All right. So if you want to get a consultation on the month, day, and year you could be debt free. All right. The month, day, and year you could be debt free. We're going to do something special for you. Go ahead and click on the button up, my link above, or if you're online already, you can go to ICE10K.com or ICE10Kreports.com. Either one, ICE10K.com or ICE10Kreports.com. Reports will take you straight there. All right. So you can now fill out your information on how you can understand how you can save tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest you don't need to pay. Plus, you can find out the month, day, and year you could be debt free. All right. 7 years from now, mortgage gone, student loans gone, credit cards gone. All right. So we can show you how to get rid of all of that in an average of 7 to 9 years without changing your budget and without sacrificing lifestyle. What does that mean? Sacrificing lifestyle, Kenyatta? You listen, do you need to cut up your credit cards? Nope. Do you need to eat beans and rice 7 days a week to make this happen? Nope. Do you have to live like a pauper? Do you have to, does this mean you can't go on vacation, get your hair done, do your nails? Does it mean you can't go shopping on a regular basis? It means none of that. To get out of debt, folks, all you need to do is stop paying all of that interest. The bank has been charging us 75% more interest than we need to pay. So to not do that, it's math and timing. We'll show you how to do the math because our program does the math for you, and we'll figure out the timing for you so that it makes it impossible for the bank to charge you that interest. Do you know, Kenyatta, do you know there was somebody else who paid off their mortgage in just 4 years? Just 4 years. Now we say 7 to 9, but there's some
4 years.
4 years paid off their mortgage in 4 years. And it is our latest celebrity endorsement. Did you know we just a few weeks ago, we met in Nashville, Tennessee. We had our first uphill method seminar in Nashville, and we had 17 speakers from around the country. And Kenyatta, you were one of them, and you knocked it out the park. All right. So listen, folks, we also had as a keynote speaker, E.T., the hip hop preacher, Eric Thomas. And I want to play for you what he had to say about this program. Roll it, please.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that that was a total surprise to us. E.T. did not tell us he was going to do that. He didn't tell me. It wasn't something that was orchestrated before. In fact, somebody that I taught this to some years ago taught it to E.T. And I didn't know. I was totally unaware. He went into some other detail, how he found out that the information actually came from me and the P.I.L.L method by watching some videos even E.T., when you hire him to come in and speak for you, do you know he has a whole team that researches your company? He has a whole team that researches your company because he's not going to lend his name to a company that's going to eventually embarrass him or cause him problems. So when they started doing the research, they found out that the information that he received to pay off his mortgage in 4 years actually came from the P.I.L.L method. And he mentioned the guy's name who presented it to him. And he says, and you took the credit. Listen, folks, this is amazing. And so he gave us permission to use this in our social media. And Kenyatta, guess what I did yesterday?
What did you do?
I recorded a television commercial using this clip, and it's going to be on TV as early as next week.
That is good. That's what I saw immediately. I'm like, he just endorsed us. Yes.
That's what we're talking about, folks. So listen, I'm getting ready to put some things on the screen so that you can understand how to pay off mortgages and other debt in about 7 years. But specifically, we're going to be going over down payment deception. What down payments actually do for you or what they don't do for you. Can having a down payment on your mortgage actually hurt you? So we've got 3 shares in the room. We have 16 people in here. Can we have a few more shares? Let's get up to 10 shares. Let's get up to 10 shares right now. We can get up to 10 shares. I can get started in this because when we get up to 10 shares, guess what's going to happen? We're going to be inviting more people in. And when I start, we will have over 20 people in the room. And then as we get this information out there, because see, some of you have made large down payments and you say, well, I thought that was helping me. Some of you are getting ready to make down payments on your mortgage or car. And you say, yeah, that's going to help us save time and it's going to help us to save interest. Some of you know somebody who's getting ready to put a down payment on a house. You want to make sure that you share this video with them, this YouTube. So listen, folks, as you go now, how can they see if they want to see this examples and what I'm getting ready to put on the screen, Kenyatta? How can everybody see what's going on here?
Okay, Don. So listen, I used to send videos, P.I.L.L method videos to my aunt, and apparently she wasn't watching them. Because do you know she went to the car lot, bought her Lexus truck, and she overpaid and prepayment. And so I want everybody to go to ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com. I want you guys to understand that what your family doesn't know is our fault. Like, I should have made sure that you watched those videos. So go ahead, Don, break it down.
All right, folks, ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com. If you want to see this, go on a separate device because we want to interact with you on Clubhouse as well. All right. We want to grow our Clubhouse audience. Go ahead and listen, follow the club. Go up and click on that green mansion up above. Follow the club. Follow me. Follow Kenyatta. And it's important to know that we had someone that was in the audience the other day. I'm getting ready to get started. I promise you. Someone was in the audience the other day that has their mortgage in, has a hard money loan, and they need to refinance out of that. Kenyatta, do you know who I'm talking about?
Tell me more.
Okay, you just talked with her just the other day.
Yes, I want you to tell me more.
Well, anyway, so she was here in the club, and she has a single family home, has a single family home, but she needs about $101,000. All right. And in my conversation with her, because she wants the P.I.L.L method as well, I said, the lenders don't like to have under $100,000. They don't like to lend out small amounts. So somebody offered her a blanket loan on her other properties. I wonder who that was. Come on now. Listen, folks, you're going to get all the sauce in here. So if you need a blanket loan on more than one property, meaning making one payment for all of your properties, whether it's 2, 10, or 20, you don't have to make separate payments. You can make one payment with a blanket loan, which Kenyatta can provide. And I'm telling you, folks, you may come here asking for one thing and leave with something better than what you asked for, because you're working with people who are looking out for your best interest. So listen, folks, we're only up to 4. Come on, folks, give me listen. Let's share the room. Go ahead down and click on that little square box with the arrow coming out of it. Can I get a few more shares, please? We got 4 shares in the room. Let's get up to at least 10 so I can get started, because I'm just kind of marking time here, because I need to get a few more people in here so I can give out this information. I'm giving it out for free. All right. It's going to save you thousands of dollars. All I'm asking is for us to share it out and get 10 shares in here so that I can give it out to more people. All right. I want to give it out to more people. So go ahead. We're up to 5 shares. We're up to 7. We're getting there. We're getting close. Come on, folks. Hit that button one more time, a few more times. We need 3 more shares, and I can get into how in the world can down payments actually hurt you. We're at 9. We're at number 9. So we're getting ready to get started. I just need one more share and we can get started. And guess what, folks? We are growing our room. We're growing our room. We're growing our room. One more share. Get one more share and we are out there. We are ready to go. We're going to be talking about, there we are. We just hit the magic number. We're at, so now I'm getting ready to share my screen. Okay, share screen. And we are going to share this screen. All right. Okay. Now here we go. All right, folks. You are now looking at, let's go ahead and share that out there. I'm going to go on YouTube and watch this as well so I can see what's happening. All right, and get out of here. Go to my YouTube channel. There we are. And there we are. All right, turn my volume down so we can get here and get into this thing, folks. All right. So now, how to pay off mortgage in about 7 years, okay? But you also, we're going to give you some, just a little bit of background on this as we go ahead and get started here, okay? All right, so here we go. And keep sharing the room while you're at it. Keep sharing the room while you're at it, okay? P.I.L.L method. We're seeing on Clubhouse right now, you are noticing on Clubhouse, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. And if you're watching this, you could go ahead and scan this QR code to get you can download my business card right here by scanning this QR code. So take out your phone, scan the QR code, and you can have my digital business card. All right. So there you are. And it is at ice10k.com, ice10k.com. And our website is pillmethod.com right there. All right. And here is a copy of my book. You want to get the book, folks. Go ahead and get the book. When you go to ice10k.com, you will be able to see there's a button that says get the book. Out of 33 million titles, there's only one title out of 33 million that talks about what we're going to be talking about today. So folks, here's what you need to know. Here's what bankers don't want you to know. 90% of you, 90% of the people you know, 90% of the people you know with a mortgage will never own their home free and clear. What is up with that? How is that possible? 30-year loans actually should pay off in 7 to 9 years on average without a large down payment. Now, you're going to have to put some kind of down payment down, all right, on most loans. But you want to put the minimum down that you can, and I'm going to show you why that is. All right. You're going to be able to pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years without refinancing, without change to your budget, and without sacrificing lifestyle. And if you want to see this, if you're new to the room, because we got 13 shares in here, so we've got more people in here right now. So listen, folks, we're talking about down payment deception, how down payments can deceive you into doing the wrong thing. So what we're looking at, if you want to see this, Kenyatta, please, for all the new people that are in the room who want to see this, how can they do that?
Hi, new people. Go to ice10k videos with an s.com. It'll take you straight to YouTube where you can like, comment, subscribe, and share. We ask that you do this on the tablet, desktop, laptop. That way you can stay engaged in the conversation with us over here.
All right, folks, here we go. All right. So you will not hear this information that you're getting ready to learn today. You will not hear this from your accountant. You won't get it from your financial planner, and you certainly will not get it from your banker. All right. It's not going to happen. You will also, what you're getting ready to learn about down payments, you will not get it from Dave Ramsey. You won't get it from Susie Orman. You won't get it from Gene Chatsky from NBC. You will not get it from Larry Burkett. You're not going to get this information from any of these financial gurus, or there's not a financial guru anywhere where where you can get this information. You're just going to get this information from right here, the P.I.L.L method. And why? The ability to read and defeat an amortization schedule, because learning how to read an amortization schedule is key to all of this, is not taught at any level of financial education. All right. So
while Don is putting up this example, he really, really loves engagement. So if you have a question about your own mortgage, please raise your hand so you can be right here on stage, ready to go after we go over this example.
All right. And keep inviting folks in here, folks. Keep inviting. If you have a friend that's getting ready to get a mortgage, and they're thinking about putting a large down payment on, they need to see this. Get them in here now. Start inviting people in here now. This is down payment deception. This is what we're talking about this morning. So at P.I.L.L Method International, here's what P.I.L.L method stands for. It stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. Here is the formula that turns a 7-year loan into a 30-year loan. Okay, so all this debt should be paid off in an average of 7 to 9 years, we figured out. But to turn it into a 30-year loan, this is what it takes. It takes this formula, and no one understands it. And this is why we are stuck. We started using this formula in 1934, folks. And people have been using it and paying 75% more interest than they need to for 88 years. It's time for us to stop. So what is going on here? Albert Einstein called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. But folks, this formula is not for compound interest. This formula is amortized interest. So if compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, amortized interest has to be the 9th. I'm telling you, it makes way more money for the banks. So if the banks have a formula to make all of this money, where is our algorithm? Where is our formula to stop paying all of that interest? Here is what bank owners don't want you to know. Okay? Amortized interest is deceptive. Amortized interest is deceptive. Oh my goodness. I want to listen. Let me get into this thing a little bit more. We're going to get into how making a down payment can actually hurt you. All right. You should be seeing it on your screen right now. Down payment deception. This is what you have signed up for this morning. We have 13 people in, only 13 people want to know about down payment deception. Well, listen, folks, you are going to be glad you were here this morning. We got 13 people in and 13 shares. That's all right, folks. Keep sharing, keep learning, keep understanding. So listen, if you want to know more about this, if you want to know about down payment deception and how down payments can actually hurt you, please put a number 9 in the chat. Put a number 9 in the chat. I want to be able to see that. Put a number 9 in the chat if you are ready to see how making large down payments is not the thing to do. Because somebody, oh, here they come. Miss Lena Baker wants to know. Jonathan Jones wants to know. How about those folks that are online? Listen, do you want to know? Anybody who wants to know this right now, who's shared the room, who's in here trying to learn about how loans really work, we're getting into down payment deception right now. So there's a local businessman building a home for $400,000. You know, Kenyatta, you know how I know this? Because this guy used to live right across the street from me. Right across the street. And in the next neighborhood that was on the other side of the river that we have a river that flows through our neighborhood. It's really nice. Okay. So he was building a house on the other side of the river, $400,000. This was some time ago. All right. And so this is what he asked me. He asked if he should put $100,000 down. He had an extra $100,000. He had already put the minimum down so he could finance the 400,000. He says, well, I have this extra 100,000. Should I put that down as well so that I can finance $300,000 at 3% for 30 years? This is exactly what people are being taught if they have the money, right? Folks, am I telling the truth here? If you have heard this, that if you are in a position to put an extra $100,000 down on the loan that you're getting, your mortgage, if you're in a position to do that, is this the thing to do? Is this what's being taught right now? If you're being taught that, put a number 1 in the chat if you've heard it before. If you've heard that this is the best practice, put a number 1 in the chat. Okay, because what you're going to learn today is that most everything you've ever learned about how loans actually work, everything you've ever learned is wrong. We're going to give you new information starting today so that you can learn what's really going on with these loans and stop doing what the bank wants us to do. So when I talked to this guy, I told him, nope. What you want is the $400,000 loan at 3% on a 30-year fixed loan. 30-year fixed, you want at 3%, you want the $400,000 loan, not the $300,000. Now, this guy is an engineer, and he's wondering, what in the world are you talking about? Because when I worked out the numbers on my spreadsheet, that it was working out in my favor. In fact, he pulled out, we started talking about it, and it looked something like this. So we did a comparison on either side of this thing. All right. We did a comparison so we could see what is going on with this loan. All right. So folks, Kenyatta, Can you go ahead and tell the folks how they can see this if they want to see it while I get a drink of water?
Absolutely. Hello, people. So what you want to do is go to ICE 10K videos with an S.com. It'll take you straight to YouTube where you can like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, share. And you guys, I think that this information is so important that you should probably, when you find some time, go back and see past examples, because every time Don does an example, it's completely different, but the results are the same. He's saving us money. So go ahead and start sharing from YouTube. And the way you do that, you first have to go to ice10kvideos.com.
All right, folks, listen. So here's what's going on, folks. Here's what's happening with this situation. So we put it side by side. On the left side is the $400,000 mortgage. On the right side is the $300,000 mortgage. And we're going to compare. All right. Let's compare. All right. So $400,000 at 3% for 30 years. Here is the payment, $1,686.42. Okay. And it says, well, Don, if I put $100,000 down, look at my payment. It's only $1,264.81. $1,264.81. So already the $300,000 mortgage is winning. And if I look at the amount of interest that the bank wants for 30 years, look at this. They want me to pay $207,111.20. If I put the $100,000 down, I'm already down to $155,000. So the total amount that I would repay The total amount I would repay on this is $607,000 if I have the $400,000 loan. And if I had the $300,000 loan, the total I would pay is $455,000. Folks, here's what I need you to understand about this. All of these numbers that you're seeing on the screen are based on a 30-year loan if you keep the loan for 30 years. Is anybody out there interested in keeping their mortgage for 30 years if they can pay it off in 7? Does anybody want to keep a 30-year loan for 30 years? If you listen, just tell me yes or no. Tell me yes if you want to keep your loan for 30 years. Tell me no if you don't want to keep your loan for 30 years, because all the numbers here are based on a 30-year loan. So put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. If you want to keep your loan for 30 years, put a yes there. If you do not want to keep your mortgage for 30 years, put a no in the chat. Put a no in there. I want to see it. I want to see how many people want to keep a 30-year loan for 30 years. Can you go ahead and put yes or no in the chat? Okay, all right. Here they come. Here it comes. All right. So listen, let's go ahead and finish this up. So here's what the bank gets on both loans. It's about ROI, folks. It's about return on investment. A 3% mortgage, all 3% loans, you will pay back 51% of what you borrowed if you keep the loan for 30 years. 51%. It doesn't matter how much you borrow, you're going to pay back 51% of what you borrowed. So the bank makes their money on the percentages. So if you prepay this loan, they're still going to make 51% on what you borrowed, plus you give them the $100,000 back early. And guess what the bank can do with $100,000? If you give them $100,000, did you realize with fractional reserve lending, I need you, if you're taking notes, I need you to write this down. Fractional reserve lending. A bank, for every dollar that they have on deposit, they can lend out $7 to $10 for every dollar they have on deposit. That's called fractional reserve lending. What? That means they can actually, on paper, lend out more money than they actually have. And every time I give them money, they can actually lend out more money. So not only are they going to make 50% interest on these or whatever loan I have, if I give them the $100,000 now, which they would love to have, they can lend out 10 times that. My goodness. And we didn't know? Let's get into this just a little bit deeper. Okay, so here's the thing. The difference in interest between the two 30-year loans, and this is what they're always telling us. Here's the difference between the two 30-year loans, okay? Remember, we're not going to keep the loan for 30 years, so these numbers don't even matter. But this is what we're told to contrast. If I have the $400,000 loan, it's going to cost me $207,000. If I have the $300,000 loans, it's going to cost me $155,000. So this this guy who's an engineer says, I'm going to save $51,779.60. But he didn't even realize he didn't have to keep the loan for 30 years. Okay. But but if he's going to keep it for 30 years, he says, listen, this way I get to save $51,779.60. Don, why would I want to pay over $50,000 more than I have to? And I said, you don't. Watch this. Here's an amortization schedule for the $400,000 loan. Okay. Here's the amortization schedule for the $400,000 loan. I need you to take a look at column 3 and column 4. Column 3 and column 4, that's cumulative principal and cumulative interest. If you're new to the room, Ms. Kenyatta, this is where the rubber meets the road. Rubber meets the road. If they're new to the room, how can they see what I'm getting ready to show right now? Because I mean, this is the key right here.
Hi, new people. Go to ice10kvideos.com. That's videos with an S, where you'll be taken straight to YouTube, where you can see these examples and more. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, share.
All right, there you go, folks. Here we go. Now, remember, he wanted to put $100,000 down on this mortgage. So, and then it would become a $300,000 mortgage. But this is the payment on a $100,000 mortgage, where on his very first payment, $686.42 would go to principal, $1,000 would go to interest. But if we take a look at cumulative interest and cumulative principal, that's column 3 and column 4, you could see after 11 months, he would have paid his loan down by $7,645, but it would cost him $10,000 in interest to do that. So the cumulative principal shows how much principal you've paid down at any given time, how much principal you've given at any given time. All right, so here's what we're talking about, folks. If you have that, if he's got his $400,000 loan, where is his $100,000? His $100,000 is still in the bank. If he wanted to, what would prevent him from putting the $100,000 down now so it could be added to the cumulative principal in the first month? You see, the way the bank has it here, it's going to take him 11 months just to pay his loan down by $7,645, and it will cost him $10,900 in interest to do it. But what if he could pay his loan down by $100,000 in the first month? Take a look at this, folks. Take a look at this. So now let's apply $100,000 to principal. Look and see what happens. Oh my goodness. It takes him all the way down to line 125 on his amortization schedule in the first month. And he's going to save $110,000 in interest now, not $51,000 over 30 years. He's going to save instantly $110,000 using the same $100,000. So folks, it's the same money, but applied differently, because now we can read an amortization schedule and we can stop letting the bank beat us to the punch. We can beat them using the same amount of money. So folks, why start at payment number 1 after putting your $100,000 down when you could start at payment number 125? Oh my God, I think we have somebody here who wants to come up and say hello. All right. Renita, how are you doing? I just tried to invite you up. But my goodness, folks, can you see what's going on here? He wanted to put $100,000 down as a down payment so that he could save $51,000 over 30 years. But I said no. Keep your $100,000 in your pocket. Get the $400,000 loan, and if you wanted to, now you can add your $100,000 to principal and shoot all the way down to payment number 125. And save $110,000 instantly. You do not have to pay. So let's break down what just happened. Applying $100,000 as a prepayment instead of a down payment to your $400,000 mortgage, you save $110,000 in interest, and it eliminates 10 years and 3 months from the loan right now, instantly. 10 years, 3 months from the loan. All right, Miss Vernita, how are you doing this morning? All right, Miss Vernita, are you there? All right, folks, we have Stack with a pack in the house. Mr. Stack, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, Ice. How's everything, my brother? Just came to support.
Listen, man, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the support. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, I didn't. So I'm just catching the gems, listening. So yeah, I never seen nothing like that.
All right, folks. So listen, if you want to ask a question about what you've learned so far, if you have any comments on what you've learned so far, raise your hand, come to the stage, and we'll talk about it. Okay. Listen, no one is talking about this. The banks will let you put your $100,000 down. Okay. The banks will let you do this. But if we can show you that your $100,000 could do more work for you, then why not? Why not let your money do more work for you? Watch this. Now you have only, listen, folks, in the first month, using the $100,000 as a prepayment instead of a down payment on a 30-year loan, you still owe $300,000. You still owe $300,000. But this way, you only have 19 years, 9 months left on a 30-year loan. Instead of putting it as having a $300,000 loan, starting out on payment number 1 for 30 years. You can use your $100,000 to start a 30-year loan, or you can use your $100,000 to start a loan at 19 years, 9 months left. Which makes more sense to you? All right, folks, if you like this information, if you like what you see so far, put number 9 in the chat. Please put number 9 in the chat if you like what you see so far. All right, because listen, okay, there we go. There we go. Number 9s are coming to the chat right now because nobody is talking about this. Nobody is talking about this. Bam is in the house. All right, let's bring him up. If he can talk, because I know he's always busy, but let's bring him up anyway. If at least at least give him an opportunity to come on up to the stage. All right, Bam, what's going on, my friend? Let's invite you to speak there. Listen, we want to get you on the stage. See, I knew it. He's working in the background. He's got us on like the radio. That's okay. But folks, here's what we're talking about. Do you see what happened when you use your money, when you know how to read an amortization schedule? Did you realize it was, I'm reading a book right now called the 1619 Project. The 1619 Project. 1619 is the year the first Dutch slave ships hit this soil. 1619. And I'm learning now about how that has impacted our economy, our politics, our social structure, our understanding of finances. All of that has been influenced from 1619. And I also have learned that it was illegal to teach enslaved people how to read. Because once enslaved people get knowledge, they will revolt against what is not fair. They will revolt against what is unjust and what is morally reprehensible. People will do that once they're educated. Let me ask you something. Has anybody ever taught you how to read an amortization schedule? Has anybody ever taught you how to read an amortization schedule? If anybody, listen, but I'm not talking about in this room. I'm talking about anywhere else other than the P.I.L.L method. If his and I need you to answer this. Has anybody ever taught you how to read an amortization schedule? Put your answer in the chat. Put your answer in the chat. Okay. All right. Nope. 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 All right. Nobody's ever taught you how to read an amortization schedule. No, sir. Miss Lena Baker says, no, sir. Nope. Deborah says, nope. Nobody's ever taught you. Okay. And the reason why no one has ever taught us, because the Bible says, here's what the Bible says: the borrower is slave to the lender. The borrower is slave to the lender. So if you want to keep people who borrow slave to people who lend, then they can never learn how to read, because they will revolt against everything that is unfair. They will revolt against everything that is morally reprehensible. They will revolt against being overcharged 75% more than they need to pay. Kenyatta, we got some new people in the room. We've got some folks in here, and I'm going to get a drink of water, but I want to go ahead and introduce our new mods. Okay. So please.
Sounds like a great idea. Let's go with Stacks. How are you? Go ahead and let the people know who you are, what you do.
I got you, Kenyatta. So my name is Stackpack. If you guys don't know who I am, I own a worldwide digital marketing company attached to a magazine, and I help everybody on every single platform in the industry grow. It doesn't matter where you are: YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. I figure out marketing solutions to get you to the next level. I also help people with verification process on every platform. I just get people to the next level. I'm heavily invested into a lot of different brands, and I'm just got into the real estate. I'm doing the tax deeds right now, all in my state, down south. And we're just going crazy. And I'm teamed up with a lot of different big brands in the industry that you guys probably, might have heard of. I do a lot of music production, artist stuff. And I'm just trying to take over the world. I ain't even gonna lie with you guys. I got featured on Forbes last week, Hype Magazine. There's a bunch of cool stuff that I do. You guys can go to stackpackmedia.com and see what I do, and I'll tap in with you guys and get you guys to the next level too. But I work with a lot of people on and off the app, thousands and thousands of people, and help them, get to the next level when it comes to being on social media, having a social media parents, marketing yourself. That's everything. And that's the stuff that internet traffic does. And that's the stuff that I do. So if you guys need any help, just hit me up and we can network and take the relationships off the app and put it in real life motion, like how me and Ice is doing right now. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Kenyatta, Bernetta, Stack Pack, Young Wolf. Let's go.
I would definitely be reaching out to you. And I like the way you covering the board. I don't know if you guys caught that. He said he was featured on Forbes and Hype Magazine. That's covering the board, okay?
It's crazy, Kenyatta. It's more. I've been getting featured on a lot of different stuff because I have access. But that one was probably like the best one. And then also just coming to the spaces, because I'm new to the real estate space, and meeting you guys from the syndicate and stuff. So I'm just coming around, adding the value and seeing how I can get some gems and also help you guys out with your social media platform. So shout out to you guys, Kenyatta, Ice. You already know what time it is. I'm here, one phone call away.
That is awesome. Awesome. And Miss Vernita, she always supports the room and we support her right back. Good morning, beautiful.
I love it. Grand Rising. Thank you for having me as always. Nice to meet you, Stack. I love everything that you're bringing to the table. Miss Kenyatta, come on, Black Queen Thriving. And, I always got to give a shout out to Don Ice. He is the revolutionary who started this space. For anyone who has not met me, I am Bernita Adele. I am your resident anti-racism strategist. I believe in Black people thriving. My platform on and off Clubhouse is called America's Hot Sauce. Why? Because Black people are the definitive hot sauce on an otherwise bland white America. And I love this space so much because what Don has created is opportunity for Black people to thrive. If you have not tapped in to the P.I.L.L method. Make sure you're taking every action you can to fortify your own economic empowerment, your own economic uplift, because we have work to do. We have work to realize that it is us. We are the hot sauce, and it's time for us to realize the monetary impact fully of our creative and cultural contributions in this country and around the world. Hit me up on IG, here on Clubhouse at Vernita Adele. Happy to tap in with anyone who has any either individual or brands or companies that are looking to really do some anti-racism work to make an impact on the world. And I have this commitment to becoming debt free because of Don Ice. Vernita, unapologetically Black, and done speaking for the moment.
So, Vernita, something just sparked in my mind when you just said that. I can't wait to back channel you so we can get that cracking. I think we can work together in as far as real estate. Don, are you ready to come back?
I am ready. I am ready. Miss Vernita, I do have a question for you, though. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the book I talked about just a few minutes ago, the 1619 Project?
I am very much so, with Nicole Hannah Jones.
Right. Would you recommend that book to people?
I absolutely would. I have a whole stack of books that I would recommend if people really want to get on their journey, not just around wealth building, but understanding kind of the historical context of, and then this is and partially my own opinion. If we really want to see even us as a people have a shot at an equitable opportunity to close this wealth gap, we gonna have to do it. It's not gonna be handed to us. So when you look at the 1619 project, I think it's one of the best representations, or the really the best breakdown of just how detrimental the Atlantic slave trade was to our people in this country, and it has been designed to suppress our economic empowerment forever. And no one's going to give it to us. We're going to have to build it ourselves.
All right, folks, you heard it here. Read, read, read. And so we're going to be see what we're talking about here is just not knowing how to read and understanding where we're coming from. If you don't understand our economic system from the transatlantic slave trade, you have to understand it from there, because the effects are baked into our society. And it doesn't matter if you were born in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s, because we don't experience directly those things. I grew up here, I grew up there, and we had our school was integrated and all of that. It doesn't matter, because what you're experiencing is baked into your society, and you may not know the underpinnings of the very thing that you're learning and how it is affecting you, and you're not even realizing it's affecting you. You have to go back and study it and put all the pieces together, and you will see how all of this comes together, especially when it comes to lending here. This is why we're going back to 1934. This is why we're going back to learning how to read an amortization schedule. Folks, continue to invite people in here today, because we're going to break this thing all the way down. Now, we're not going to go back to 1619, not today, but we are going to go back to 1934. And we're going to teach you, I'm going to finish this example up, and then we're going to teach you how to read an amortization schedule. But I need some number 9s in the chat if you want to learn how to read an amortization schedule. I'm going to finish this up, but I need some number 9s if you want to learn how to read. Uh-oh, here they come online. Here they come on Clubhouse. I want to learn how to read, Don. Because I don't want folks to take advantage of me, because I don't know how to read, folks. And come on, has anybody else got something to say about what we're talking about right now?
Well, Don, I was only one last thing. This is Vernita.
Come on, Vernita.
Is because you're touching on something that is, I mentioned the word like by design. It's by design. And so, throughout this year, we taking, again, why I say what you're doing is so revolutionary, because we know that it was an intention that we were not supposed to learn how to read. Reading was kept from us as Black people, one. And then the second piece of it is that at every opportunity since the Emancipation Proclamation, it always has been to teach Black people to be consumers, not to save, not to build wealth, not to learn and understand how to use money to make money, not to learn how to become debt free. It has always been the intention was for us to be consumers, to spend, and to not understand how money really works. And so going back to and really learning how to read, revolutionary. Vernita, unapologetically Black and done speaking.
Listen, folks, I have to say this. I have to say this because I just learned on the news that a family in California who owned a strip of a beach years ago, over 100 years ago, that they were harassed and tried to get the family to leave that strip of property. I mean, they not only did they have property, but they had a business on the property. See, financial education and learning how to make money and use money is not new to people of color. But every time people would start to educate themselves, learn how to read, save their pennies, and put their pennies to work, and to start to grow financial wealth, other people who became jealous and threatened took it away, burned it away, and killed it away, so that every step we would take 5 steps forward, and people of color were sent 15 steps back every time they tried to empower themselves, until, like she says, it is standard practice to keep Black and brown people suppressed. This information that we're getting out here is going to help everyone today. Everyone today. And just like the Black and brown people were suppressed in growing themselves financially, here's what I need you to know. When it comes to lending, when it comes to banking, when it comes to making money, understanding how lending works, bankers don't recognize color at all. Everybody is treated the same. Do you know in the highest echelons of banking, if you're not the bank owner, you're not taught how to read an amortization schedule. You're not taught unless you are an owner, unless you're in the owner's club. You don't know what you're getting ready to learn today. People at the highest levels, if they're not owners, they don't know what you're getting ready to learn. Are you ready? Are you ready to learn that? Put some more number 9s in the chat. Okay. Bam was talking about, but it is 1924, Manhattan Beach officials voted to condemn the land that the Black family has had property returned to them. All right. So that property has just been returned to them after over 100 years. And guess what? Guess what they were offered for it? Only $20 million. You know what the family said? Nope. Not for 20 million. See, that's adding insult to that's adding insult to injury. A business was on that land. What if that business had continued to be on that land? It is not just the economic wealth, but the
opportunity cost.
The opportunity cost in costing families who would have been generationally taught how to be self-sufficient. This cost the family more than money. It cost them more than money. It cost them confidence. It cost them knowledge. It cost them a better understanding of how money works in that family and who they could have influenced along the way. So you can't take something away for 100 years and only offer me $20 million. Folks, what was taken from them would amount to billions or even trillions. So why would you try to, by offering $20 million for that, is adding insult to injury. So folks, what we're going to do here is we're going to teach everybody. It's not lost on me, the irony here. The irony of this whole thing, not just teaching Black and brown people, but everyone of every stripe is going to learn how to read an amortization schedule today. Watch what I've got here, folks. Listen, keep inviting people in. Keep inviting people in, because what do we have here? Okay. We've got a few people in here right now. We got 24 people. Keep sharing the room. Keep sharing the room right now. Keep sharing it. We're at 15 shares. Can I get to 20 shares? Can I get to 20 shares so that we can learn how to read and level up today? How can we learn to read and level up our finances? Because here's what's going on, folks. The extra money you're paying in interest by not understanding this is not the problem. The problem is the money that money will never make for you, because you spent the money on interest instead of investing that money in your families. What? That is what we're talking about. Miss Coffee, but did I hear you come off mic?
No, that was the other sister in the building. But I was like, teach the people, Don.
All right.
And Don, I only came off mic just to bring it up. I'm like, hey, Miss Coffee. I was just gonna offer, and I tried to ping her into the room. Ashanti Martin. If you're not familiar with her, she's one of the co-founder of Where Is My Land? And that organization, it has been instrumental in cases like the one at Manhattan Beach to ensure that this is one case of many, where land that belonged to Black people in this last several centuries was stripped from them. And there is now a concerted effort to ensure that that land is returned at the proper value. And so Kevon Ward and Ashanti Martin, and I particularly point to Ashanti, she's a good friend of mine, also a writer in this space. And the organization is called Where Is My Land? That's speak.
Wow. Okay, folks, we're going to finish this example up, and then we want Miss Coffee Brown to go ahead and introduce herself. But look at this, folks. Instead of putting $100,000 as a down payment and having a 30-year loan, okay, for $300,000, I recommended that this engineer get the $400,000 loan and then put his $100,000 down as a prepayment on the loan, taking him all the way to payment number 125. He only now has 19 years, 9 months left on this loan by putting the $100,000 as a prepayment instead of a down payment. Let's finish this up. So continuing to use the P.I.L.L method, what did he do? He signed up for the P.I.L.L method. Of course he signed up for the P.I.L.L method. Why wouldn't he sign up for the P.I.L.L method? No one else is telling him how to use his $100,000 correctly. He learned it from the P.I.L.L method. Use it as a prepayment, not a down payment. Use it so that you can have a 19-year loan instead of a 30-year loan. And now look what happens, folks. Continuing to use the P.I.L.L method, he will pay off the rest of his loan in what? Just 7 years. And all that interest that the bank wanted, guess what's going to happen now? His grand total, all the interest he's going to pay on this loan to pay it off is only $30,000. What is he going to do with the rest of that money? You see, the bank wanted from him, wanted $207,000 from him. That's what the bank wanted, $207,000. He's only going to pay only $30,000. Folks, that's $177,000 difference to acquire the same asset. So what can he do now with $177,000 he didn't have to pay in interest? Oh man, he has the opportunity now to invest that money. And guess what happened? Here it is. I am his new best friend. And look, the irony is not lost on me that this picture was taken on the beach. Lord have mercy. This is what we're talking about, folks. So listen, you want to learn how to read an amortization schedule now? All right. I need a few more nines in the chat. I'm going to teach you after I put a few more nines in the chat. And while you're putting those nines in the chat, I'm going to get a drink of water. We're going to let Miss Coffee Brown introduce herself, and then I'll teach you how to read an amortization schedule. Miss Coffee Brown, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Good morning. I am your resident troublemaker, aka Coach P. Coffee Brown here in the great state of Texas by way of Houston. I'm just honored to be in the building with Don. Don is, let me just edify Don. Forget about me. Don has been instrumental in transforming lives and transcending time and space with this educational platform. You guys, you have to respect the fact that he's doing something unprecedented. We have never seen this in our lifetime. And I'm going to say that again. We've never seen this in our lifetime. Somebody willing to come in and give us all of this information at absolutely no cost to us. It's beyond incredible, and we should respect and honor the fact that Don is doing this. Ping some people in this room. Let other people know what's going on. Don't just be the person to retain the information and not share the information. It was given to you at absolutely no expense but your time. The only thing that we're paying in this room right now is attention and time. So we need to be certain that we let other people know. Put it out on all social media, not just through our Clubhouse. All of us in here have other social media platforms. Let your communities know. This is important. This is not just for us. This is going to change 60 generations, or as many as the Lord allows to live in the land while the land is still here. 60 generations. Can you imagine purging away all of the debt of the future, your face being on your children and your grandchildren's mantle, saying, this is the one that got the information, that applied it and taught it to us. Let's share. Let's spread the wealth. Let's be value adders. Let's honor Don through sharing with others. He's not asked for anything except for us to share this information, invest in the publication. It's the only one out of millions of publications on Amazon. I have several myself, international bestsellers. Nonetheless, none of my publications can stand a candle next to Don's because of what it is that he's sharing. Not down in what I do, but lifting up what he's doing for the masses. Remember, in order to get wealth, you have to identify something you can do that will help the masses. The masses. I'm in my coach space right now. So I want you guys to respect that, to honor it, grab that publication, add value to somebody else this morning. I've done it. I know all of the other thought leaders on the stage have done it. Everybody in this audience, spread this wealth. Text somebody the information. You can literally text this room to a family member or a friend so that they can be blessed with this wealth of wisdom in this room. So I am Coach P. Coffee Brown. I'm a certified master life coach here in the great state of Texas by way of Houston. And I yield the mic back to the amazing, incredible thought leader, Don.
Thank you so much for that. So what she's talking about is the book that's on our screen right now. It's The Pill Method, A Better Way to Eliminate Debt. So it out of 33 million books out there on Amazon, there's only one that's going to teach you how to read an amortization schedule. And guess what? Not too long ago, just a few weeks ago, another person learned how to read an amortization schedule. And he came to Nashville, Tennessee to our very first seminar. And along with 17 other amazing speakers, Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher, mentioned how he got a hold of this information and how he paid off his mortgage in just 4 years. And now even E.T. has a signed copy of my book. Let's listen to what he had to say about the P.I.L.L method, and then we'll teach you how to read an amortization schedule.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down from my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
All right, folks, you heard it. You heard it here. You heard it here. Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher, used the P.I.L.L method to pay off his mortgage in 4 years. If you'd like to do something similar, then go to the top of the room right now and click on the link that we have up there, and then go to getting a savings and earnings report. Fill out the information, follow all the instructions. And for anybody who gets that right now, for anybody who completes that by midnight tonight, okay? If you complete your form by midnight tonight, we will waive the consultation fee of $150. Just put in the coupon code ICE, Interest Cancellation Expert. Just put in the coupon code ICE. When you're filling out your financial form, all right, when you're filling out your financial form to learn the month, day, and year you could be debt-free and how much interest you can save, we're going to ask you, how did you learn about this information? And we're going to give you several choices, but go down to where it says other, and you'll be able to type in ICE. That way we know that we're going to waive the $150 fee for you. All right. All right. So listen, get that information, get it in here, get it in by midnight tonight, and we'll waive the fee. All right, folks, we're going to get back into it. We're getting back into it right now to learn how to read an amortization schedule. Are you ready? Here we go. All right. So let me put this on we're going to put this on the screen. Okay. This is the wrong example. I've got to go back a little bit further. So listen, folks, let me find this example so we can go ahead and learn how to read this thing. There we are. That's what we want. All right, folks, I have on the screen a $200,000 mortgage at 6% for 30 years. Did you realize that's what we're paying now? About 6% on these loans? 6%. Here's a $200,000 mortgage at 6% for 30 years. The monthly payment is only $11.9910. All right. And that's what we're taught to focus on. 6%, the interest rate, and the payment. So if you're not following this room, go up, because this is the top of the hour. We're going to reset right now and click on where it says P.I.L.L method and follow P.I.L.L method. Will you also follow me? And so that you can know how we're doing what we're doing, so that you can always understand how all of this works. Because anytime that I'm on, you will be able to see that we're going to be talking about the truth about lending. So follow me, follow all of your mods, and follow this club. So right now, we're going to learn how to read an amortization schedule. $200,000 mortgage at 6%, and payment is $11.9910. Here's how this loan breaks down. Do you see something? I want you to see something very interesting here. If we get this loan at $200,000 and keep it for 30 years. The bank wants to charge us $231,000 in interest to pay back a total of $431,676. Now, why is that significant? Because we'll be paying $431,000 for a $200,000 house. Does anybody out there want to pay $431,000 for a house worth $200,000? Does anybody? Huh. Does anybody want to keep?
Strong no, sir. Strong no.
Strong no. Strong no. Does anybody want to keep a loan for 30 years when they could get rid of it in 7? Does anybody want to keep a loan for 30 years when they can be done in 7? Come on.
That's a hell no, Don. That's a hell no.
All right. So, folks, here's the other thing. Here's what amortization does to this loan. Do you want to be told your loan is 6% and end up paying 115.838% interest on this loan? Total interest paid as a percentage of principal is actually more than the principal borrowed. Do you want to pay do you want to be told at 6% and end up paying 115.838%? Come on. Where did this come from? 1934. And how is everybody on the planet, no matter what color they are, how many people are doing this? Do you know not even Dave Ramsey teaches this? Do you know that not even Susie Orman is teaching this? And why not? Because I own the copyright. They can't teach it the way we teach it. Because somebody somewhere said, Don, do a little bit of reading. And before you put your information out there, will you get a copyright on it? And when you got the P.I.L.L method out there, will you go ahead and make that a registered trademark? Because once you start talking about this, do you know in the past that information has been stolen from people who have only wanted to go out and to do good, and now it's stolen from them? Do you know people tried to steal this from me? Yes, they did. But guess what? Because I had a copyright and I could prove that it was copyrighted way back in 2010, that their efforts fell short. I am so glad. Because all I had to do was talk to a lawyer. Did I know anything about copywriting? No. I talked to a lawyer who knew something about copywriting and made sure that all my ducks were in a row because I didn't know. I paid somebody who did know. Was it a little stiff? Yeah, but it was well worth it, because if I hadn't done that, somebody else would be talking about this and not me. Lord have mercy. Look at this, folks. 115.838%. Nobody wants to do that. So let's learn how to read this thing. On the very first payment of $1199.10, when it's amortized, only $199.10 goes to principal. What? You're trying out of nearly $1,200, only $199.10 goes to principal, and $1,000 goes to interest. When this happens, $199.10 is subtracted from the $200,000. We're left with the principal balance of $199,800.90. The bank uses the principal balance on any line of your schedule to tell you how much interest you owe on the very next line. That's all you have to remember. Whatever's going on, you're expected to pay the interest on the very next line. Okay? On the very next line. So if we do this, we give the bank their $199.10 and the $1,000 in interest, which doesn't help us. Okay? It only helps the bank. Because of that, our interest cost goes down because we don't owe as much. Now we owe $199.10 less. So our interest cost on line 2 is $999 on line 2. And so so it's $1 less in interest. So that dollar now goes over to the principal side. Every month we pay a little more principal and a little less interest. And this is the slowest in the first 7 years. This transfer of money from interest to principal is in the first 7 years of your loan. This transfer is actually the slowest. It starts to pick up after 7 years, where more money goes to principal and less goes to interest. This is why your bank asks you to refinance every 5 to 7 years to start the process all over again. How about that? So now $200 in month 2, $200 goes to principal, $999 goes to interest, and we're left with a payment of $199,600.80 on line 2. So if we're already on line 2, then our next mortgage payment on line 3, now that's when we learn how much interest we will pay on line 3, $998. Now, how do we save time and how do we save interest? How does prepayment, remember, $100,000 prepaid saved us a whole lot of interest. Let me show you how just a small amount of money helps us to prepay. A small amount of money, how that helps us. Okay. And listen, folks, if you need to ask a question about this, raise your hand. I see I got 20 shares in the room. Thank you very much for 20 shares. We got 27 people in here. Let's get some more people in here. While I'm doing this example, go ahead and share it again. Let's see if we can get up to 25 shares and get some more folks in so they can learn how to read an amortization schedule. So now, how do we do this? Watch this. Let's just say our very first payment is made in January. Let's make our first payment. We're making January. Okay. And if our very first payment is made in January, our February principal payment is what? $200.10. So here's my question. If I can see that my February principal payment is $200.10, do I have to wait till February to give the bank that $200.10? Let's put it in the chat. Okay. I see Zoe saying good morning to us on online here. Zoe, good morning to you. All right. All right. So folks, go ahead and tell me, put it in the chat. Do we have to wait till February to give the bank that money? All right. Anybody says no. We can give it to them in January. So if we do, folks, if we give the bank that money in January, we are paid down to line 2 in January. Watch this. We're paid down to line 2 in January. If we're already paid down to line 2 in January, then our next mortgage payment for February, you see, we have a mortgage payment every single month. But guess what just happened? For an extra $200.10 paid to this loan, line 2 has been eliminated. You see, this is a 360-month loan. By giving the bank the $200.10, we've turned 360 payments that we're going to make on this loan to 359 payments. Just that easy. By giving the bank the $200.10 early. And we're paid down to line 2 early. We're paid down to line 2 in January. We just got rid of line 2 for $200.10, not $1,200 that the bank was looking for. So our next mortgage payment for February is on what line of the schedule? You got it, line 3. And folks, if we're paid down to line 3 and February, and our new mortgage payment is line 3 for February, where we're paying $200.10 for principal, $998 for interest, then what happened to the $999 in interest on line 2? What happened to it? What happened to it? It got canceled. We just saved ourselves $999 in interest we never have to pay. Oh my goodness. So if $200 can save us nearly $1,000 in interest, well, can we play around with this a little bit, folks? Do you have a little bit of money in the bank? Can we takes about what? Make our mortgage payment on line 1, January. Look at this schedule and say, well, the principal payment for February is $200.10. The principal payment for March is $201.10. And the principal payment for April is $202.10. Could we pay that early? $603.30. That's maybe sitting in your bank making 0.1% or less. Could we take $600 out of there, apply it to this mortgage, and save nearly $3,000 in interest? Knock off 3 payments we never have to make. And our next mortgage payment for February is now on line 5 of this schedule. Listen, folks, for about half of a regular payment, we knock off 3 mortgage payments we never have to make and save nearly $3,000 in interest. Has your real estate agent ever pointed this out to you? Has your a loan officer that sold you your mortgage, have they ever pointed this out to you? I need to know. Has anybody ever pointed this out to you? Have you learned it anywhere else other than right here, right now, how to read an amortization schedule? Okay. Tammy says, no, nobody ever told us that. But does it make sense, folks? Does it make sense that we don't have to pay interest like this? We can choose the timing. Here's what's happening, folks. When you choose the timing to give the bank money, you are going to give them anyway. It saves you a ton of interest and it knocks off a lot of payments you never have to make. A ton of payments you never have to make. Well, folks, let me say, let me just show you. Let's see what happens. Let's finish this example up. Okay, I put like $600 on here, and look what happens. We just knocked off 3 payments we never have to make. How do you like that? How do you like those apples? Where you just save about $3,000. All right. Well, I'm not done yet. Let me show you this. What would happen if we take a look at line 12 on this schedule? Will you please look at line 12 on this schedule and look at the 3rd column, cumulative principal, $2,456 and a penny, $2,456 and a penny. All right. Are you looking at that? That's what you would pay over 12 months. What would happen if you just paid your mortgage just like the company wanted you in 12 months? You'd pay your loan down by $2,456 and a penny. How much interest does the bank want you to pay? There it is, over just to the right, $11,933.19 in interest. So here's my question. If you already know that you have to pay back the $24,5601, do you have to pay it in 12 monthly installments? You can put your answer in the chat. Do you have to pay it in 12 monthly installments, everybody? Huh? Do you? Oh, Mimi Cook says, no, you don't have to pay it in 12 monthly installments. Listen, folks I know they're cracking up over there right about now. We could, if we had it, we could pay it all at once on line 1. And if we did, folks, look what would happen. We're paid down to line 12 in just 1 month. And look at all the interest we're saving when we choose the timing in which to give the bank the money. Instead of letting them dictate the timing, we save money. Oh my goodness. Is there anybody out there that's getting ready to say, listen, do I have somebody that's out there raising their hand that wants to come up to the stage and ask a question? All right, Miss Ursula, I see you down there. Come on up, Miss Ursula. Come on up to the stage. I just invited you up. Go ahead and answer that, please. I hope you're still paying, that you're still here. All right. Oh, she put her hand down. All right, Miss Ursula. Listen, somebody come on up and ask a question. Come on up and ask a question or make a comment on what you've just learned. Not just the moderators. They listen, they talk all the time. Can I get one person from the audience to be brave enough to raise their hand and to ask a question or make a comment on what you've just learned? Is this valuable information or not? All right, come on. Can I get one person to raise their hand? Not one. Well. What about that? Come on. All right, folks. There we go. Miss Amber, come on up. All right. Let's see. Invite her to speak. Miss Amber, come on up. All right. Miss Deborah, come on up. All right. I want to talk to some folks in the audience today. All right, Miss Amber, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. What is your comment or question today?
Well, again, I guess my first comment is you always blow me away because I thought I understood amortization schedules. I mean, I'm a real estate agent, an accountant, financial person, but I didn't get it until you explained it like you did. So I want to thank you for that, by the way.
Listen, if you're a real estate agent, how would this information help your clients?
Oh my gosh, it would be huge because, well, first of all, it would really dictate how much they would want to put down, because if they're focusing more on what kind of payment they could afford first, rather than just how much down payment they want to put down, because that was one of the big keys hearing you talk for me, was that focus on the payment amount. And then if you have like, say, 50,000 to put down on a house, and your payment amount is comfortable if you only put 20,000 down, then put the 20 down, and then the very first month put the rest of it down. Knock all of that interest off. That just floored me.
Oh my goodness. Do you see? That's why we call it down payment deception. Kenyatta, I see you flashing up there.
Yeah, I mean, because I made that same discovery, and she sounds like I did when I talked to you and you first introduced the pill method to me. But it gets quite more intricate. So if you will back channel me, I would love to tell you even more ways as a realtor you can win with this.
Ooh, is that another pill method? And Clubhouse connection?
Thank you.
Yes, I'm telling you, she can use this in so many ways. You can be a sought after realtor if that is your focus. No one else is talking about that in your market. I can say that confidently because they don't know the pill method, right? At least not yet. So right now is a great time for you to tell people, listen, I know you're scared to buy. I know you're looking at interest rates. I know, that there's a lot of talk about it being low inventory, but what if you thought about it this way and you offer the solution you can rack up?
Wow. Miss Amber, I got one more question for you. At least one more. Okay. Have you ever run into a client that could actually afford more house, but they were afraid to buy that much house? They could afford it easily, but they were afraid to buy that much house. Have you ever paid that kind of money? Have you ever come into contact with that?
Were you watching me during my last client?
No. Tell us what happened.
Oh, she was a lovely lady. So she had been divorced. I think when I met her, she'd been divorced for about 20 years. And she had finally come to the discovery that she can own a house without a man involved. And her initial concern was she was scared she couldn't afford the house. And so in our area, our housing costs are really, really low. They're really great here. And she specifically requested houses that were half of what she could afford, even though, any kind of mortgage person would tell her otherwise. Although, I think we all know that never buy at the top of the budget that the mortgage guy gives you, but that's a whole nother thing. But she was such a sweet gal. And through working with her, I didn't know about the pill method at that point, but working with her, we were able to finally come to a at least partial increase in value, and her still feel comfortable she could afford the house. But yeah, that's a classic example. She wanted to go for half of what she could comfortably afford.
So if people knew that the house that they're about to buy, if they knew that they could actually have it paid off in 7 to 9 years without changing their budget and without sacrificing lifestyle, do you think they would explore purchasing more house if they knew they could pay it off in 7 years?
Oh, easily.
I'm telling you, if you're a real estate agent and you're not talking to people about how to buy more house because they can pay it off in 7 years, because here, what happens, folks? What happens is if I'm getting a house, especially if, not in this lady's case, but let's say it's a small family that can actually afford more house. And what happens is as their family starts to grow, they're going to grow out of that house and need to buy another house. But that house they could have bought 5 years sooner or 7 years sooner is now more expensive. So get the house that you can afford now because you know you can handle it, because you can pay it off in 7 years instead of 30, and get equity much faster and much cheaper. Miss Amber, thank you very much for coming to the stage. Did you have another comment for us before we go to Miss Deborah?
The only other comment I had, Ice, is I haven't quite caught discussions on your end regarding credit card debt, if this is something we can apply there.
Oh, well, actually, we're going to be talking about that Sunday. All right, Sunday. In fact, that's our new topic for Sunday is credit cards. Okay, and how paying off all of your credit cards can hurt your credit score. How paying off all your credit cards is a bad thing. We're going to show you that.
Oh, yeah.
On Sunday.
Wait a minute, Don.
This coffee.
I want you to stop this, Don. This is outrageous. Lord have mercy. Help us, Lord.
Miss Coffee,
Don,
why are you saying that?
It's too early to be drinking, Don.
Miss Coffee, why are you saying that?
You know, Don, we have been given such misleading information regarding financial accountability and responsibility, and this is just like, I want to go slap somebody.
Listen, folks, we got folks out there telling you to cut up your credit cards, never use them. And I'm going to be telling you,
put them in the freezer too, Don. Put them in the freezer.
Yeah, put them in the freezer. Yeah, put in a cup of water, put some water in there, and then freeze it so that you won't be able to use it. Listen, and use your debit card. I'm going to tell you right now, all right? Not only are we going to show you some stuff about credit cards, but I'm going to tell you right now, my emergency card is my debit card. My everyday card is a credit card. What? Everyday card, credit card, emergency card.
Tell them again, Don.
The
people in the back.
My emergency card is my debit card. My everyday card is my credit card.
My Lord.
Listen, we're going to get into
Don, I do got a testimony. My credit card just put some money in my account.
Oh, please.
I'm going back on mute.
Yes.
You got a testimony right now? You're going to keep it till Sunday?
No. My credit card just put some money in my account. I just got an email.
Oh, come on. Talk to us.
Congratulations. You just got some money put in your bank account for your points on your American Express card. Praise God.
Ooh wee. Okay. Listen, folks, I run my business on credit cards. All right. And I've learned about business credit. And so I learned Patricia and I have over 600,000 points now. Okay. So we're getting ready to fly to.
Let me hold some, Ice. Let me hold some.
So my points. So
let me hold something. Kenyatta, let's go.
So listen, folks, we're getting ready to go to Dallas for the first time. We're getting ready to go to Dallas. So, I could pay for the tickets, but you know what? I'm using the points, and we're going to fly first class on points that I got just for stuff I would have bought anyway. They gave me 600,000 points for stuff I would have bought anyway. And so I'm going to use the points to fly first class.
For anyone that's wondering, what we're talking about is business credit. And if you're not tapped in, please tap into one of us so we can tell you, because this is the way you're supposed to be living your life.
Not only that, folks, but we have an hour and a half layover. But because
where are you going to be chilling, Don?
Listen, we're going to be in Atlanta for an hour and a half. And guess where we're going to be sitting?
Where are you going to be sitting, Don?
In the airport lounge. Eating.
What do they have in the airport lounge, Don?
Free food and drinks, comfortable seating, and free Wi-Fi so I can get some work done.
And you're not fighting over charging ports.
No, I can charge. I can do whatever I need to. And listen, the first time we got to go into an airport lounge, Patricia said,
what'd she say?
I ain't going back.
The first time I ever went in one, they were offering massages.
Woo, look at that. Look at that. So, folks, here's what we're talking about. All of this information, we're going to be talking about credit cards come Sunday morning at 8:30. Okay, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. I'm sorry, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Credit cards that's going to be our new topic. Credit cards. All right. So we're going to be teaching you some stuff about credit cards Sunday morning. Be in the building. All right. We're not just talking. Listen, we're going to turn up about all kinds of things credit, not just paying off your mortgage, but how we can get credit cards to pay you for paying your bills. Come on, Miss Deborah. How are you this morning?
I am great. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. I most certainly can. Do you have a question or a comment for us this morning?
I actually have both. I just want to say thank you so much for the way in which you teach and the way in which you explain things. They are, your explanations are in layman's terms that anyone can understand, and it's most appreciated because everyone does not talk at the level of their audience. Sometimes they're flying a little high. So I appreciate you and the method in which you use to explain the information. My question is the amortization schedule. And I have a couple of questions. Actually, to get a copy of that, do we go to our lender? That's the first question. The second question, do you think it is a good idea to couple that with, say, splitting your mortgage in half and paying half on, say, the first and half on the 15th? Those are my questions.
Can I talk about that biweekly payment first?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about biweekly payment. Now, what she's talking about, folks, is paying money, taking your mortgage payment, splitting it in half, and paying the first half on the first of the month, and the second half about on the 15th of the month. So let me ask you something, Ms. Deborah. When people do that, they're looking to save time and interest, correct?
Yes.
Here's my question. When they pay the first half, are they saving time and are they saving interest when they pay the first half?
My educated guess is no.
Your educated guess would be right. Do you know what really happens? When you pay the first half, the bank holds your money.
Yes.
Until you pay the second half, and then they apply it.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
So in that month, you save no interest. So why do it?
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Now,
that makes sense.
Where does the savings come in? Here's where the savings come in. Every 6 months, you get an extra week in the month.
Right.
So you make half the payment on the first, the other half, because you're doing it every 2 weeks. Then you make another half payment on the 15th, and then you make a third half payment around the 30th of the month. So you're going to make 3 of those smaller payments in the same month. That third payment is the one that saves you money, and you only do that every 6 months.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So the most that can save you is between 4.9 years and 7 years. That's the most. 7 years is the most. You turn a 30-year loan into a 23-year loan.
Okay.
So with the P.I.L.L method, guess what? Our people pay off their loans in an average of 7 years. We don't save them 7 years. We save them about 23. And
makes sense.
Everyone who has a biweekly payment, when they become a P.I.L.L method client, they turn that stuff off. They don't continue to make it because it doesn't make sense. It makes the bank money. All right.
Which makes sense why they offer it. Okay.
All right. So here's the other thing. All right. Think about this. Your more expensive interest payments are the ones up front, aren't they?
Yes.
All right. So if you're going to eliminate any interest payments, do you want to eliminate the ones towards the front of the loan or the smaller ones at the back of the loan?
Up front.
Up front. So if you're giving the bank extra money every 6 months, that means for 5 of those months, you're paying the most expensive interest payments before you give them money.
Wow, the bulb is the light bulb came on.
Okay. So by making you think you're saving money actually makes them more money, because whatever you do according to the bank's timing makes them money. What they don't want you to do is give them money in a time that's going to save you more money, to kill the more expensive interest payments when it costs you the least amount of money. Okay. Now,
sometimes when you look at those interest payments up front, they're kind of overwhelming. So you just stop looking at them. All
right. Well, listen, we're going to, by learning how to read this amortization schedule, that's going to help you from now on. We're going to, when you see it now, you're going to get overjoyed, because now you know how to read. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you guys remember the first time you got all the way through a sentence in a book that maybe your parents had read to you, but you read it on your own, and how happy and joyous an occasion that was. I read the book and I understood it. Do you know how happy and joyous you are once you learn how to read an amortization schedule and find out all the stuff that people have been telling you was wrong?
I can only imagine.
Oh my gosh. And listen, you're going to learn by being in this room, folks. One of the topics we're going to cover is that the higher interest rates we're getting, we're probably going to talk about this. So Sunday, we're on. All right. We're going to talk about credit cards. Wednesday, we're back on. I'm putting Wednesday's topic down now. All right. Guess what Wednesday's topic is going to be, everybody? How higher interest rates are better than the lower ones. Okay. How 6% interest on a mortgage is better than 2.99. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the numbers. What? Yes. Once you learn how to read an amortization schedule, you're going to be thankful for the higher interest rates that we're getting now than the ones we just left. So here's what's happening with the higher interest rates, folks. Right now, more and more people are dropping out of the market. Some of them could afford the payments, but they're choosing not to get a 6% loan or a 6.5% loan, when they really should be happy to get those higher interest loans. I got a real estate agent, Real Estate with Bill, all right, on YouTube, and he says, "What? No way." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, tell all of your clients, all your real estate agents, to come in here on Wednesday's show at 8 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to go over how the higher interest rates are better. You can save more money at a higher interest rate. You can get equity faster at a high interest rate, and you can pay off your loans sooner with a higher interest rate than you can with a lower one. All your real estate agents, you need to be in here for that, okay? on Tuesday. So, Miss Deborah, about your amortization schedule, you want to write this down, and you guys can put it in the chat. Brett Whistle, BRETWHISSEL. Don't ask your bank for an amortization schedule. Make your own. Make your own.
Wow.
Okay, Brett Whistle. Now, I use Brett Whistle as I have a calculator on my screen right now. So let's go ahead and put that on the screen right now. The amortization calculator. And this is online. Anybody can get this. Anybody can use this. All right. But we have a computer program that keeps track of all your amortization schedules on all of your loans simultaneously and tells you which one to attack and when with how much money. If you make your own amortization schedule, anytime you pay an extra dime, you destroy it, and you have to create a new one every single time. Plus, you're guessing as to how much money to put on the debt. And why is that important? When you're guessing on how much money to put on the debt, then you're not optimizing how much interest you can save per dollar. Do you know gas is going down here? And it's under $4 here if I go to the certain places to buy gas. All right, it's under $4. I pay attention to how much gas I'm getting per dollar. I pay attention to how much grapes cost per pound, how far my money can go in the grocery store. We don't pay attention to how much interest we can save per dollar. Let me give you a quick example of that, Ms. Deborah. What if we could find out that when your loan is optimized, we can save you $6 in interest for every dollar you put on principal? Wouldn't that be valuable?
Absolutely.
Okay. But what if you're just guessing and putting money on, and now you're only saving $3 in interest, but you're still saving, right?
Right.
But
I prefer to know.
You would prefer to know, have a way to measure, am I saving the most amount of interest per dollar, or am I saving a lesser amount of interest per dollar? But if you don't have a tool that helps you to measure that, we're just guessing. Right?
Right.
How would you like to know not only how to stop guessing, how to put the right amount of money down, but the least amount of money that you can actually pay to get the biggest amount of interest that you can eliminate?
All right. I would love to know that.
So listen, you want to go to ice10k.com or click on the link above. All right. Or go to ice10k.com. Or even ice10kreports.com. And you can get a savings and earnings report. Follow the directions. All right. Follow the directions. You want to get a savings and earnings report. Follow the directions and put in all your financial data once you get into the financial form. Now, when people want to go over this with our company, we charge $150 for a consultation once we produce the form for you. If you can get that information to me by midnight tonight, I will waive the consultation fee of $150. Not only can you find out that you can save nearly our average client saves about $150,000 in interest. Our average client pays off all of their debt, not just their mortgage, in an average of 7 to 9 years. What do you say, Ms. Deborah?
Outstanding. That is an outstanding deal.
There you go. There you go. Ms. Deborah, thank you so much for coming to the stage. I got 4 minutes left in the room, and I've got Miss Sherry Ann here. Ms. Deborah, are you complete?
I am. I'm landing my plane. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Miss Sherry Ann, how are you this morning? Go ahead.
Good morning. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It took me a minute to get off mute. Good morning. Oh my God, I got 4 minutes. Well, less than
No,
4 minutes.
you got more than that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you got a little bit more time than that, Miss Sherry Ann. And the reason why is I got 4 minutes before we cut off the live stream. All right. So
Okay.
what do you got? What do you got for me?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad. Oh my God, you said a lot of things, and oh my gosh. So here's the deal.
Yes.
Okay. I don't like debt, but you're saying debt is good. I do have a credit card too. Anyway,
I love it.
so my mortgage, I would like to get involved with your ICE 10K program, seeing how I can get rid of this mortgage. And you said an hour is 7 to 9, but I would like to do it in 5. What I've been doing is adding, and I don't know if it's the best thing I've been doing, adding 300 towards my principal every month. Is that good or bad? I've been doing that for the last couple of years now.
Okay, here's the
Thank
question. I got a question for you.
Mhm.
And you're going to answer this for yourself. You ready?
Yeah.
When you put that $300 down, how much interest did you save?
I had no clue.
And that's what's the problem. You want to know
Put it-
exactly how much to pay and when.
Right.
That's what matters. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Can I put you on hold for just a second?
Absolutely.
While we do a little bit of housekeeping and let the folks go online. All right.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes,
you heard it today. We just went over how down payment deception is hurting people, and use that money as a prepayment instead of a down payment. We're going to be back here on Sunday, where we're going to be talking about how credit cards are a good thing and debit cards are your emergency card, where your credit cards are your everyday cards. Credit cards good, debit cards bad. We're going to be talking about that on Sunday. So folks, remember, get a savings and earnings report. The $150 fee, the moratorium goes away at midnight tonight. Get your savings and earnings report. Put in your financial information. Go to ice10k.com or ice10kreports.com, or click on the link above my head and get your savings and earnings report. All right. Put in your information, get the savings and earnings report, and then my staff will contact you, verify the numbers. And if you put in the coupon code ICE, ICE, you're going to be eligible. But get that information to us before midnight tonight. Thank you, everyone. I want to thank everyone online that's been here. We're going to end with Dr. Eric Thomas and what he has to say about the P.I.L.L method. And I'll see you on Sunday.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse, just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down from my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.